I want you to put the word out there that we back up.
Welcome back, softies, for another episode of the Soft Knocks podcast.
Welcome to the fucking show.
There's some years where this would have been a good game. Broncos, Saints.
Peyton Manning versus Drew Brees.
Yeah, not this year.
The
Spencer
only reason
Rattler and Bo Nix.
The only reason they did it because Sean Payton's back. Denver, I mean, they got 3 wins, I guess, but man, they're tough to watch. Their offense.
Yeah.
This guy's Bo Nix is a decent runner, but
I actually think Bo Nix has a chance at a halfway decent future in the NFL. I just think he came on to a not so great team.
no, they don't have many weapons.
I think Spencer Rattler was a good draft pick for the Saints. Like, I thought he had a chance of being a pretty good NFL quarterback. Not NFL ready right out of college.
Now, we always go back to he was so highly number 1 in the nation recruited, I think.
I mean, you know, I know how that goes. That was me.
Yeah. What, you an NCAA? Football? Heisman candidate?
A game I have not played because I'm too cheap to go upgrade all of my stuff.
Oh, I'm not either, no.
I actually haven't played like a legit video game.
I didn't even buy Madden
long time.
this year for the first time in a long time. Did you see the Monday night game this week? I think I read this right. Only on ESPN Plus.
No.
I swear, exclusively. They said I could have. It's a shit game anyway. I think Cardinals and
It doesn't matter. Monday Night
Chargers.
Football is like sacrilege.
I think I saw that on a commercial. So I
That
don't.
can't be. I think you're a fucking liar.
Let's look it up. I guess we do have the internet. I hope I'm really wrong, and we just have to cut this whole thing.
I hope you're. Well,
Look. ESPN Plus.
That's it?
That's all it says on.
That's fucking stupid.
Can we hack into Anthony's?
No, but I'll just fucking pay for it. It'll just annoy the shit out of me.
Just cuss as you pull out your credit card.
Look, like ESPN Plus, like if they had any real content that
That's
was
the only
worth
listing
anything,
I see.
oh, that's fucking bullshit. Nothing is good on there.
What are they putting on in baseball? Maybe the playoffs.
Well,
I don't know.
There's a lot of college basketball that ends up on there from the Big 12. So during the college basketball season, it kind of makes sense a little bit as an Iowa State fan. Like, outside of the random broadcasts that you need for whatever game they've decided needs to be on there, like there's nothing good on there. Like, at least with like the Big
Random
Ten,
UFC shit I know all the time.
the Big Ten ends up on what, Paramount? Or is it
Peacock?
Peacock,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Well, at least with Peacock, they have some original programming that's not the worst thing I've
They
seen.
got quite a few movies too.
They got
and
movies
it's pretty
and stuff.
cheap.
Yeah. No, ESPN
I don't know how much
Plus,
ESPN Plus is. But
I think it's like $12 or $13 a month now.
oh, gee, yeah, I wouldn't.
And it is like the other programming on there. Yes, it's a lot of UFC and like random sports stuff, but they don't like. You'd think they'd put some like original ESPN stuff on there that you can only get there that would be useful. But no, it's just games and not good ones.
Well, I'm sure they're listening to us and they'll change their mind.
No, they won't. God, could you imagine how great that would be?
What, do we have listeners? How many listened to the last one?
I haven't looked.
Okay.
I don't know. Probably the same 15 or 20 that do.
Need to expand.
I don't even know what that would look like. What are we going to expand to? Cable television? ESPN Plus? Just sell it to ESPN Plus. They're like, yeah, we'll give you.
Sold.
We'll let you.
$20
We'll let you pay us. Yeah. Which would probably be worth it.
Yeah, it'd be definitely worth it.
God.
All right, let's get into this horrible fantasy football seasons.
So first, I want to talk about the podcast schedule.
Okay.
All right. So we've
Big
gotten
update for our
some.
fans.
We've gotten a little. I don't call it flack. There's been like some talk about like, hey, where's the podcast? Because we only do this every other week, which works out well because, frankly, like neither one of us have the time to put any real effort into like preparing for this.
If you can't tell, we wing everything. So.
But so we do this every other week on Thursdays because football's on, and it works out because then I get till like, Sunday morning-ish to like edit this. But like we sit down here for a couple hours and bullshit about this stuff. But like, what are your thoughts on moving to Monday nights? Because there's still football on Monday nights, but evidently I got to get ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, hit up
Hopefully that's a one-off.
hit up the support the show link so I can afford ESPN Plus.
I think they're going to give us $12 a month.
Yes, please.
I'm good with Mondays. Yeah, it does make more sense if anybody actually listens to our gambling picks.
Yeah. And it's
They
closer
could-
to the weekend, so we probably remember
Fresher.
more about the NFL weekend. We could try going to every week if you want and see how it goes. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say that like the episodes probably get a little shorter, which I'm sure our listeners would love.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Jesus
defensive
Christ.
touchdown!
Oh, you called it!
I bet that. Wait, there's a flag though.
Fuck. I did not bet it,
I
but
actually
I thought it
bet
was
it.
a great bet. Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking hope this counts for you.
Oh
then.
no, there's a flag.
That's brutal.
That is brutal.
So
That
okay,
is
so let's
fucking brutal.
we'll give this a shot. We'll try to take it to Monday nights, and we will try once a week. But this could revert awfully quick to every other week. I'm good Monday night or Thursday night. Like I don't care as long as there's a game on. When football ends, though, like we're gonna go back to every other week.
Yeah. Like Gianna doesn't have softball now, and
Okay.
it's just a little more open at night. So
Okay.
that should work. Oh, another offset. I can't believe that. Oh,
That's brutal.
That
That's
is.
brutal to see that taken away like that.
Jesus Christ.
All right, well, settled then. We will look at changing up the schedule a little bit, and we'll see how it goes.
Our fans will be they won't be pleased, but they'll still bitch about something.
Now they'll bitch about like how we do it on Mondays.
Why not twice a week? Oh.
Why don't you guys spend every waking minute doing this shit? Just so I can listen to it never and bitch and complain.
And bitch about it. How awful it is.
Oh man, fantasy football.
Well, we got a few leagues to get. We'll start with our main one here.
I'm at a pretty low point.
You are at a low point in that one. You first.
There was, so this was, not last weekend, the weekend before. I lost. I think who was I was playing that week? I think I was playing Craig, and I was winning until 20 seconds left in that Dallas game when that third string guy who's in because
Tolbert?
Yes, Tolbert scored with 20 seconds left, and I lost by like, I mean. I lost. It doesn't matter by how much. I can't remember what it was. It didn't matter. It was that play.
I didn't realize you were playing him.
With 20 seconds left, that was the play that ended that game. And it didn't. I mean, it doesn't matter now. Like I lost last week too to my dad, which I don't know that I've ever beat my dad in our league. Like I think he's beaten me every time we've played, and it doesn't matter like which team's better or not. Like his team is better than mine. Like there's no. Well, every team is better than mine right now. But that league, I am just like 2 weeks ago, I woke up to that because I didn't even see it happen because it was late.
That
it was
rain
like,
delay or lightning.
yeah, it was
delay.
like 1 in the morning or 12 at midnight or something.
was.
I was asleep for hours, and I woke up to it. I saw the text messages from you guys. I looked at the score.
It was the only joy I'm going to get this year for being a Dallas fan.
God,
so.
I don't know. Like I am just defeated. Like I spent a couple days. I may have spent like a week not responding to any group
I could tell
text
you were
messages.
quiet.
Like I muted it. Like I muted it. I didn't want to see the
Oh God, I can't believe you
text come
admitted
through,
that.
and I was so just deflated by the whole thing.
You hear that, Jeff? Pile on more.
Oh man, and I went into it like a deep like I won't say like,
depression.
No, I won't say depression because that's an actual thing that affects people with real life problems. but it was like just a
No, this is a real life problem.
it was like
It's very real.
just a deep darkness of like why? Like what did I do to deserve this?
What did you do to start Bud Means as your starting wide receiver tonight? Or Bub or Bud?
Bub. That makes it even worse.
Who the fuck is that
I
guy?
don't know. I the season is lost in this league for me.
What if you went out? Here, I'm going to give you some positivity. You got Adams now, who's miraculously healed, and he's on a new team.
Yeah, new team, new offense.
You got Tua maybe coming back, right? For Hill. You don't have Tua, but I mean for Hill.
yes, and Achan.
And HN. And then, I don't know about Etienne. He's kind of a bust. How about
Yeah.
that trade now? George raped you now, it looks like.
Nah, look. This whole that trade
Hindsight.
in hindsight doesn't look great, but I still stand by the logic. ETN wasn't hurt, and he had a halfway decent start to the season. He was a top 20 running back. And then I gave up Cooper, who didn't have a quarterback
Now he
who could
does.
throw him the ball. And I gave up a running back who's not going to be the starter by the end of the season.
Somehow he's a top 10 running back right now.
Now, he's had a great year. Like, this is fucking bullshit. But I still think the logic was sound. The problem with the logic was it's sound for a winning fantasy football team, not for somebody who needed wins. That's the problem. Like, I couldn't afford to make that trade, but I did. It's all right. Whatever.
Oh.
But yeah, so for me,
Yeah,
the
no,
league
I
has
get
been
it. That's just-
a disaster. That's fine because you can't win them all. But I will say that I'm pleased that, and he doesn't listen, so who cares? I'm pleased that Cody is second to last.
Don't worry, he'll beat me this week.
We cannot have him win 3 in a row.
No.
If he wins a third championship in a row, like we just have to end the league
Yeah.
so that we can kick him out and restart the league.
A new name.
Yeah, knew everything. But like, I mean, league standings, like, cool to see your dad up top.
Yeah.
You know, change the name and he's a winner.
He's feeling himself.
I really don't need to see Anthony at the top because
His team is good.
His team is good, and
they are deep.
which is terrible for our psyche because
They are deep.
he'll let you know.
They're
Deepest
deep.
team in the league.
Yeah, it actually is. He says that every year. This year it
It's
is.
the worst. I will say about our standings is that I have the most points scored against me. So
That was
having
me last year. Yeah.
having a bad team, it doesn't help when everybody's scoring the most points against you. Now, points for is not like I'm up there in the standings. So, like, I have a bad team. It's just I'm also getting beat terribly. Craig, like, first year in the league last year,
No, Craig's.
and he's and he had a great regular
He
season.
won the
last
regular
year,
season, I think.
and he's doing great again this year. Like, good for him. Except that we need to be bringing in people who are terrible at this league so that have a better shot. But the league itself, it's still really too early because
It is. I mean, if you get to 6 or 7 wins,
tied for 10th is 2 wins, and they're only they're 3 back of first place. They are 1 back of in the playoffs. So it's it's still anybody's game except for me. Like, I'm on the sidelines and I'm okay
not
with
even
that.
you're not eliminated, but
Well, it depends on what Bub does tonight.
yeah, Bub, he's off to a 1 catch 10-yard.
2 points, man. That's more than some of my players scored last week.
My team is I'm just waiting for my white boys to get back and maybe have a chance. Cooper Cup this week is questionable, but he's been practicing.
You're gonna play him if he plays?
Absolutely. What am I going to play? Michael Pittman? Who I look back at my draft, that was the really bad pick.
Yeah.
I thought last year he was really good. But
Hindsight.
got
is
Hawkinson
2020.
maybe coming back. And then who knows about McCaffrey? That's the one, obviously. But
Yeah.
and I've been trying with everyone, including you, just to make a trade for a middling running back.
I looked at it like
A middling running back.
it took me
I'm
a
not
day.
asking for a star.
like I saw it when it came across. I didn't like automatically decline it, and I didn't let it just run its time frame.
Of course.
You wanted Eckler for Pittman. And, like, I looked at that and I was like, man, I mean, just on the face of it, it sounds. You'd think that Pittman would be the guy in that trade. And if you could have told me that Richardson would not play another snap at QB this year, I would have taken the trade. But those fools.
Yeah. Well, they're going to go to see if they have anything in him.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can't blame them, but that just tells me that they have no interest in winning this year.
No.
Because
he's not good.
He's good at running the ball. Maybe like
come dangerously close just to dropping him in that other league we're in.
Yeah.
But I can't.
I know it's like a hard thing to do.
Because what if he like figures it out a little? I don't
like. If he could just learn to throw a ball somewhere between 0 and 30 yards, he'd be great. He can throw it 60 yards.
Oh, yeah, he's got
on a dime.
He's got a huge arm. It's not that. He's just not accurate at all. Yeah, on the short and intermediate. He actually has a decent deep ball sometimes.
It would all be all right if every game he ran for 100 yards and a touchdown.
That's kind of why people were taking him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
like if you got 100 yards and a touchdown on the ground and then you got his shitty quarterback play, he'd be top 8 QBs.
Yeah.
No problem.
I suppose I'll just hold on to Pittman because I can't find I've offered him to John for Zach Moss, any middling running back.
Yeah. No, I hear you. What other matchups? We got any big matchups going on this week?
Oh, the top 2 in the league.
Oh yeah.
My dad and Anthony.
And your dad's off to a start.
Is he? Has he got? Williams?
Javante's got 8 points already.
Oh wow.
And the Denver defense.
Should have had touchdown.
Oh man, that would have been awesome.
Jeez.
Oh
Still
man.
early.
Any other big matchups? Not really. I mean, Dave gets a cupcake this week.
Is it you?
Yeah.
Bub means.
Bub
means business.
He makes one good touchdown catch. It'll be totally worth it.
Still not playing Ingram, huh? He had a nice.
I know. I may like the lineup's not set.
Although you can't bench Bowers.
No, I should trade him.
You should trade him.
You want Ingram? Pittman, Ingram, straight up.
Yeah, it would make 0 sense, really. Just be.
I know. I've looked through the lineups to try and figure out who I could trade Ingram
I look
to.
Incessantly.
And
I can't.
There's just no one good because like the people that could like maybe use another receiver already have a tight end to fill that spot.
Yeah, and truth is, Anthony's got so much depth, but he doesn't need anything. You know what I mean?
I don't know that I like even if I could come up with a trade that worked with Anthony, I don't know that I would do it because if I lose the trade.
You'll hear about it.
I'm like, I'll never hear the end of it because I've never let him off the hook for some of the bad trades he'd made to me. I just have to.
Anthony, if you're listening, I'm trying to put something together for Josh Jacobs.
I have to just retire from trades with Anthony. Like, I got to retire the Hall of Famer.
Oh, but yeah. And all of his guys have been healthy. And
I know.
They all look. That Dobbins ended up being a really good pick. He has not.
Has your dad ever won the league? Once?
When we first started.
A long time ago?
He might have been
okay.
Like the first time we did this, I think.
All right. Well, so like him or Craig. Like Craig doesn't have a win yet, obviously. So I don't need like the Anthony Jeff duo getting to more wins than me.
Let's get Asher a championship. I don't know if it's going to happen with this team, but
I'd love to get him a championship. Figure out how to get him some of my players that aren't that great. Just do like a Ken Walker for a kicker.
I'll give you Brandon Aubrey for Ken Walker. I just picked him up.
Also, this year our league, I have been outbid on every waiver
because you're too
I've
cheap.
Put in, and I don't think I have been. Like, I think I've been, like, on point for what these players are worth.
There's been a couple big numbers that surprised me.
Aubrey, I put a $5 bid in on a cooker. On a kicker.
It's because Dallas, they stall, and they will give him a shot from the 50-yard line.
I mean, he's probably worth it. I didn't think anybody would put in like more than $4.
The problem I had is I forgot they had a bye week, so I have to. Yeah. I'm carrying 2 kickers this week because I don't want to drop him after spending.
I mean, I'm sure your dad was thinking
money.
Like none of these fools will be like itching at a kicker like when he's got a bye coming up.
His own son. Yes.
Yeah. Little did he know it showed up on the group chat, and we like. I can't believe there wasn't more bids.
He's by far the best player on the Cowboys right now.
He's scored.
Not even close.
Like half of their points this season. He's got like 60 points.
Yeah,
and it's either
and they're big point. They're not like 30-yard field goals. They're like
it's either like exactly half or it's more than half of their points this season.
Yeah, it's a depressing time. Like this is the lowest I've felt about them since before Romo years.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well,
how you feeling about your other leagues?
The big money one. We talked about this earlier. I'm 0-6.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. Oh yeah, yours.
And my points against is 120 points more than the next.
It's actually kind of insane.
So it's some bad luck, but I don't like the team anyway. I got Hill and Adams in there, so they've been shitty.
That's a tough.
Kind of like you do in our league, Hill and Adams.
That league's tough too. I'm 2-4 in that league, and I think that like I don't feel like my team's that bad.
I look at mine still on paper, but then you look at Hill and Adams. I mean, that's the two.
Part of the problem is it's a full PPR with a limited roster. Like it's 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and flex. Nothing fancy, full PPR, and it's only 10 teams. So the problem is that you end up with a lot of really good teams, and you don't like if you have an injury, you're not trying to fill out like 2 flexes and 3 wide receivers, so you have room on your bench to cover some of this stuff. And so a lot of these teams are pretty good.
Yeah. There's some loaded teams.
I need to unload a wide receiver in that one. I have like 4 really good wide receivers, and that does me no good because I can't start all of them.
Yeah,
it's just like nobody will trade in that league either. Like it's
has
really
there ever
tough
been
to trade.
I think I did one last year for a quarterback.
Well, like when I look at trades in that league, I look at you, I look at Anthony, I look at Matt and maybe Toby. Outside of that, like I don't know who these people are, and they won't. They're not like trading, So it's I offer
we've
stuff.
Probably been really drunk with all of them.
Yeah,
I don't even know who they are.
But it's a tough one, and I'm 2-4. I'm not out of it at 2-4 in that league, but man, it's getting close because there's only 4 playoff spots out of the 10 in that one.
I saw my playoff chance was 1%. So I'm not putting too much worry into that one anymore. We'll just set it and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, so I'm like, I really need to win this week. And the old man league, like, I don't know what to think. Like, I'm not out of it by any means, but I just have such a hard time in that one.
That team's looking a little bit better for me now that what quarterback's so valuable there with that 6 point, and Caleb Williams is really coming on for me. That's a big one.
I need to reevaluate how I handle that league next year.
Or we should just tell them to not do best ball anymore.
Because I got to give up on the tight ends being worth more with their half PPR because it's not. Because like this year, tight ends are terrible.
They're horrible. Even the top aren't that great.
There's no PPR, so like trying to figure out what wide receiver to play is well, you don't have to figure. But I mean, trying to figure out which one to grab off the waivers or whatever. Like, it's so touchdown dependent. It's really difficult to figure out. It's all about like having the running backs.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, like you need one of the first 5 picks in that draft to snag, even though this year a handful of those guys haven't done well. You need to get like one of those top running backs, and then you need to come back around the second round and get another one.
Yeah.
You have to punt the wide receiver position, and maybe
what's keeping me afloat there is like a guy like David Montgomery. I think's been better than people thought. He's been like better than Gibbs, really.
And maybe like the quarterback position. It's a good point. Like
Yeah, you need a stud.
Maybe
there.
you even have to punt the wide receiver even further down the list and just go from like running back, and then go in. Maybe a wide receiver, but like you got to get a quarterback in that like 4th round spot, 5th round spot.
Yeah, and that's why I waited.
I mean, I punted
long.
that position, and I have Dak Prescott, and he's had some good weeks.
He's had some good. This is a bad year for him. Like
But
last year, he was really.
He has
good.
weeks where he is non-existent.
Yeah, like
Last week, he has 7 points.
all of
in
his
that
home
league.
games, pretty much.
So
I still have hope that
I
that
don't.
offense will
I don't
figure
feel
it out.
great about that team because it's a bunch of shitty players.
Mm-hmm.
But not out of it yet. We'll see what happens. Maybe if Chubb comes back and plays well, that'll help because I have him.
Yeah, he's playing this week.
But my league with my buddies, the Yahoo League, that one's going all right. I feel like I should be undefeated, although I think I have 2 losses. I'm tied for first.
I should be undefeated in that 0-6 league too. So
It's
like
like
everyone
it's-
feels that way.
It's incredible, like some of the year we've gotten out of some of last year's studs. Amon St. Brown has done absolute dick this year.
A lot of those top receivers,
You know,
it's just been kind of a weird year. I don't know.
Devontae's been hurt.
Yeah,
You know, it's like I thought I came out of that one. CeeDee Lamb hasn't exactly had,
middling, yeah.
you know, and when I came out of that draft, my first 3 picks being CeeDee, St. Brown, and Devontae Adams, I thought like, oh shit, because my running backs actually ended up being all right. Kamara, you know, and then I've got, you know, Rashad White and a couple other. I've got his backup and some other guys, so it's like it's worked out. But shit, I thought I was loaded, and they just haven't done anything.
they still may. I do think Adams is going to benefit from that.
I
Trade
have
quite a
to.
bit.
I have to believe in statistics and say that that we're going to regress to the
And-
mean, and say that means that he's going to have a great second half. Same thing for St. Brown. Like I bet he has a great.
And actually, a
second
stat I
half.
saw on Lamb, he actually has more yards this year through the first
Really?
than he did last. And last year, he ended up leading the league. And
Yeah. Last
so, I
year he
mean,
had an incredible. Like,
he really
end
came
of the
on
season,
after their
so.
bye last week. I remember, and we'll see.
Hopefully that's the same thing. And if that's the
We'll
case, like
see.
great.
I don't know.
But
But yeah, no, St. Brown had that team's just loaded.
I know.
They run so well.
Yep.
They got weapons outside of him on the perimeter.
That league, though, I already have to start looking at like playoff matches and lining up defenses and all that stuff because 6 out of 10 people make it to the playoffs, and so if you have a team that's halfway decent, you just have to start looking at it and going, all right, what are there rookies that I want to like throw on the bench, or is there stuff that you want to just wait for the playoffs? So I don't know. That might be my only league that I make the playoffs in. So we got to start putting all my energy into it.
I know. I hoped I make the playoffs in at least one of these. I should know. I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything. These injuries have been worse than any year.
And
I
it just
remember.
keeps happening.
And it's for every team. I mean, not just.
Like this game
Not just
tonight,
me,
you've
but-
got the reason I'm starting a guy named Bubs Mean is because Olave's out with a concussion, and Rashid, what's his last name?
Rashid Shaheed or
Rashid
something.
Shaheed.
Yeah, he's out for the year now.
Yeah, he's out for the year.
Yeah, it's been a lot of like major injuries too. Like not just a week or two.
Oh,
Even Jonathan Taylor, everyone thought it'd be like a week thing. He's still going to be out. It looks like.
yeah, but like that doesn't even like mean a whole lot because the other guys behind him are actually terrible. Last week,
Yeah,
you see those guys?
I thought about picking up Sermon. And I don't
Jesus.
think he's not that good.
Last week my dad was he was asking about like waivers and some different things, and this was like last Wednesday, and because who did he have? He was dropping Carr. He was going to drop Carr and pick up another QB, and he was Wednesday, and like I forget what the deal was, but like it had to do with somebody who was playing Thursday, and he goes, well, I want to pick up this guy, but it says he's on waivers. Like, when will this process? and it was after Thursday or something. He was going to pick up Geno Smith, who's playing Thursday night for the Seahawks.
The Niners, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, somebody just dropped him, so you can't pick him up till next Wednesday. So, like, if you put in dropping Carr for Geno Smith, like, it won't matter because it won't go through till next week. I'm like, you're better off just dropping Carr.
It's collusion.
And, like, picking up a lottery ticket. Like, pick up a backup running back.
Well, yeah, he probably should have had Sermon anyway.
You know? And I was playing him. But I didn't think about it because, like, I'm like, well, just pick up some backup running back, and maybe the guy in front of him tears an ACL, and then you've got a league winner, right? And he's like, the concept it was like foreign to him. He didn't even I'm like, well, Dad, you're gonna drop the quarterback. Like, you're not gonna play him. You're gonna drop him and pick up a lottery ticket.
Is he thinking you have to drop quarterback for quarterback?
No, it never occurred to him that this was a strategy you could use. And so then he's like, so a couple days later he goes, I used your deal, and I'm actually gonna start him. And he picks up Trey Sermon, and like Trey Sermon's like a starting running back. I'm like, God, I didn't expect you to.
Don't worry, he had 2 points.
Yeah, it didn't matter, but Thursday night, like my dad's team, he has like 3 or 4 Niners, and they all went off for 20 points. Kittle.
That's when you start not running back.
It might have been
when Kittle had his second touchdown.
I just like, what in the absolute fuck? And my dad's texting me the next day. He's like, oh yeah, I picked up Trey Sermon, another starting running back. I'm like, God.
He might pick him up again. He's gonna start again. Oh.
So that was my dad didn't realize that was an option. And he's like, he was just gonna put in the waiver thing and let it wait till Wednesday.
Oh, come on, Bruce. What is this year what for Bruce? We got to figure this out.
I don't know, 5? 4?
More than 4, I think. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, what else? Let's see what else is on the docket today.
You want to talk about your Bears?
I do. I do want to talk about the Bears. Before we get to the Bears, though, I want to bring this up because it was on the group chat, and I don't feel like I could get a fair shake on the group chat on this because people seem to think that I'm some devious asshole that
you're
cheats
the villain
on this shit. But you sent a tweet to the group that was it was like a video where these guys were talking about a scenario where someone in a fantasy football league. So last Monday night's football game. You had the Bills versus the Jets.
Jets, yeah.
And James Cook, who has been a great running back this year, was a late scratch.
Yeah, it was kind of similar to the McCaffrey week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was going to happen. Happens like Monday afternoon that like you figure out that James Cook isn't going to start. So all the games, all the Sunday games have already happened. So you're really limited if you're the James Cook owner on who you can pick up.
To a Jets backup or a Bronco or a
depends
Bills
on where you had him.
backup,
Like maybe you had him in a flex and you could maybe pick up a wide receiver or something. Mm-hmm. And this tweet was about a league where the guy playing the guy who had James Cook added and dropped every possible roster move that he could make. And presumably this was like the same day on Monday. He just picked them up, dropped them one after one after one after one, right? And which put them all on waivers in this guy's league. And the question was, is this dirty pool? Like, is that cheating? Is it, against the code?
The unwritten rules.
Yeah.
My thought is it dirty? Yes, but would I do it?
And let's advance this a little bit further. Let's say instead of some random week 5 doesn't matter game, it's a playoff game. It's win or go home. Right? Like you're winning and the guy you're playing has James Cook in Monday night and you have the opportunity to prevent him from picking anybody up by adding and dropping these guys? Is it dirty?
Yes, it's dirty. But again, I could see you doing it.
Yeah. I think like the biggest question here is like, what league platform is this idiot playing on?
Yeah,
because I knew the rules because I had tested it.
Because you've done this before.
No, I haven't done it. I tested it to see what would happen years ago, to see if I could do it. And you can't do it in ESPN because the rule in ESPN is you have to hold a player for 24 hours before it would put them on waivers. So you pick somebody up tonight, even tomorrow morning, you drop them. So it goes overnight. It's still going to go back to waivers. It's not going to, or it's still going to go to free agency. It's not going to go to waivers. So you couldn't do it on ESPN. I don't know about Yahoo or the other leagues, but it would not work on ESPN. So
it must not have been that. Yeah, I did not know that, and I'm the commissioner. I've never. I don't know if I've ever been in a situation though that I even thought about it though.
Yeah,
but yeah, to answer your question, it is dirty. What I think I'd do it if I take it this guy was maybe just hanging on by a thread, like only up a couple points maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, like it would like you'd have to really look at the scenario where like what could possibly be available. Like yes, he did this, okay, whatever. But like what would there's not a lot of good options.
Well, if Ray Davis was available.
Yeah, but like, let's be realistic. Ray Davis wasn't available in our league because I had him on my bench, not scoring me any fucking points.
Yeah, you knew the Jets' Braylon Allen's probably rostered, so I don't know.
You'd have to look at the league, but like, I mean, what the guy said for options, like, yes, okay, as commissioner, if you were like, oh, okay, this is total dirty pool, like, we're not going to allow this, you could just say, okay, before the game, you can't do it after the fact because, you know, whatever. But before the game, you could have been like, hey, look, this guy's being a fucking asshole. Do you want one of these guys for the game? We're not going to you don't have to worry about the waivers. Which one of these do you want? You could do that. But you could also just play in a scenario where that's not an option.
Yeah.
You know? Like that wouldn't happen on ESPN. You have to hold them. So I don't know.
This goes back to, of course, Asher brings it up when you started Taysom Hill.
Well, I think that unless you have said it's not allowed, then
that
it's allowed.
That was an unforeseen. I don't know if that's ever happened.
If you don't have a rule against it,
for those who don't know what we're
allowed.
talking about, a few years ago, Taysom Hill, the backup. Well, he's technically a tight end.
You don't even have to say a few years ago. Taysom Hill is currently allowed to play as a tight end in most leagues, and he plays quarterback some of the time for New Orleans. Years ago, the New Orleans quarterback was injured, and so there was a very good chance that Taysom Hill was going to play quarterback for the Saints, but he was going to be able to be listed in your tight end slot. So I picked him up off waivers.
Jason had two quarterbacks that week.
Everybody else had the chance. Like it wasn't like I had first waiver priority. This was before we had the bid system, and I like there was anybody else could have picked him up. No one else did. So I started Taysom Hill as a tight end, and he played quarterback, and I won that week.
Knocked Asher out of the playoffs.
I don't care. Like if it's not a rule, it's not a rule. Like this isn't like I somehow hacked the system. No. ESPN had him listed as a tight end. I played him in the tight end slot.
The next week, ESPN changed that, I believe.
No.
Yeah, I think they did because there was a big controversy about
ESPN,
because you weren't the only one that did that.
I know.
And then everyone's like,
everybody else
and
in our league,
I think, sent out something like how they were going to change that.
Everyone else in our league would have started him in the tight end slot, and they're fucking liars if they say something different.
Oh, God.
There was no way he was going to sit on the waiver and not be in someone's lineup. I'm happy to be the bad guy for that. You hear me?
You need me. I'm the bad guy. What are you going to go Tony Montana on us?
Maybe.
There's the bad guy.
Maybe.
Oh, but that's something we'll never forget. That was great.
Oh, man. That was some good controversy. It really was. But I don't know. Like
Asher
I
threatened
think-
you like WWE style. That next time he sees you, he's gonna like throw you through a table.
which is really threatening because he certainly could.
That would be fucking awesome.
But the whole like scenario of like churning through those players and the ad drops just to fuck with someone, like I think it's fucking hilarious. Now,
Yeah.
all right, so let's say he didn't churn through the players, but he picked them all up, and so he actually made room on his roster and picked them all up.
It's a little different, I think.
Yeah, it is. But is it still dirty pool?
Not as dirty?
Not as dirty. No.
There's different levels to dirty.
Yeah, there is.
That's not as dirty because he's sacrificing probably
Because
some good players.
I have done that in the playoffs. Is like I'll look and say like I'll go pick up. You see a guy's like tight end gets injured or something, and I'll go pick up like 3 of the best tight ends. If like we're in the playoffs and it's win or go home, yeah, backfires half the time because then they're forced to pick up somebody else who ends up being the guy who gets 2 touchdowns and 80 yards. But yeah,
you can overthink some things too. But
I overthink everything. I've certainly done that this year. I don't know.
I certainly did that last year. That's why I'm trying not to make as many trades with big names involved. Because you just got to be patient. They should get back. We'll see. I don't know about McCaffrey.
He's like, I don't know. They're talking like he's going to come back, but
They say he's going to ramp up here.
Man.
What the fuck that means.
so fantasy football, it's been it's fun, but it's been a rough year for me. Like I'm kind of.
We're not even halfway through it.
I know we're not even halfway
getting
through.
there.
This is the worst part about it is that we're not even halfway through, and I'm already like defeated.
Yes.
And I just know that I have to go to next August before I can draft a team again. You know how defeating that is?
Actually, That's
It
funny
is
you said that.
October.
That's funny you said that because I'm like, if only I didn't have the number 1 pick this year and like
I have
I had it all. I was so excited.
10.5 months before I get to draft another fantasy football team. Can
10
we
and a half
start
months
over?
until I get the number 1 pick again?
Can we start? Should I get the bingo machine out and draft?
We're gonna do it tonight, guys.
NFL has been pretty active and nuts recently.
Yeah, you're bitching about your fantasy teams, but your real life teams.
Yeah. I
Iowa
almost don't even
State-
want to talk about it.
And
Right?
we're gonna talk about it because we hope that we jinx them.
Do the reverse
Yes,
jinx?
yes. Iowa State playoff bound, probably.
I can't.
Bears are all of a sudden hotter. than
Iowa
a
State
pistol.
is playing their 4th night game in a row. Like someone has decided that they are prime time and they are only prime time, which is problematic because sometimes I have shit to do, and it's like, oh wait, sorry, I got an Iowa
like
State
go
game.
out to the bar to a movie.
Well, no, but yes, that was part of it. Like I wanted to have a date night with the wife, and then after I'm like set up all these plans and stuff, I look at the schedule and it's like, well, fuck, the Iowa State game's on at the same time.
Oh, well, you got to see most of it, right?
Yeah, but no,
Why do they never wear their normal uniforms anymore?
their normal is just to not be normal. I don't know
Why do they hate their colors so much?
They have to try and be cool because they don't have like Ohio State NIL money.
But
I don't know.
they got a shitty schedule that they'll probably. I mean, a good shitty schedule. Like they should win out.
Well, oh man, I don't even want to speak it into existence, but they have a legit shot at going 10-0, and then they have to their hardest games are their last 2. They've got Utah and Kansas State.
Where are
their
they
last
at?
2 games. I assume I have to look, but I would assume
Probably
away
one home, one
because
away, or
they've played a lot of home games already.
Utah. That will be tough. Kansas State, they should win. But
I don't know. Kansas State's been good in the past. They started out the year, they're supposed to be pretty good. But they're having the greatest start they've ever had. I mean, like they've been 6-0 before, but we're talking about the 80s, and that wasn't really what college football is today. So, greatest start they've ever had. Another big game this week, you know.
Who is it? I don't even remember.
So Iowa State plays UCF this week in Ames. Now, should they win that game?
UCF?
Yes.
I don't even know they're Big 12?
Yep, they're a Big 12 team. And should Iowa State win that game? Yeah. Yeah. Are they favorites?
They'll win that one. Stop it.
Yeah, they're a 13.5-point favorite. If I had to bet the game, what would I bet? UCF on the
maybe the points.
In the points.
But God, they should win that game. I mean,
they certainly should win that game.
I took West Virginia money line. I thought that was going to be the classic Iowa State.
I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Like I would have guessed that could easily happen. You know, you're talking about an Iowa State team that has a tendency to start slow in games. All it would have taken was just getting behind and not being able to catch up.
I think they were down 7-0.
So
and then I went to a movie that night and I came out and they were winning. But
yeah,
no, good for them.
Yeah,
can't wait for them to. Who they can play in the playoffs? You think Alabama, Georgia?
Well, I don't know. They're going to be a 1 seed, so.
That's right. Bama lost to Vandy. Losers.
And they almost lost to South Carolina.
They did.
Oh, man. No, Iowa State, they're playing great football. It's fun to watch them play now. Although I still have the angst of knowing that they could lose at any time.
Yeah.
Waiting for that shoe to drop. The Bears are playing great. Like, I can only assume this is why my fantasy teams are playing so terrible, is that I'm getting good luck.
Would you rather have your real life or your fantasy dominating?
Fantasy.
Well, money.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And personal pride.
I don't know. My Cowboys, I'd like them to be better. I don't know.
So here's a dilemma for you. All right. You win all 3 of your fantasy football championships for the next 5 years. Every year you win all 3 of them. Or the Cowboys and the Hawkeyes, the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, Hawkeyes win the national championship this year. So for 5 years, you're the greatest fantasy football manager known to man. Or your 2 teams win their respective championship the same year.
Money's temporary. The joy to have the Hawkeyes and the Cowboys winning, I think I'd choose that.
So let's change this a little bit. Same deal. You get 5 years of winning your fantasy football championships, and you get 1 year of the Super Bowl and the national title. But the opposite is if you pick the national title and the Super Bowl, then your team is dead last, and laughingly so, for 5 years. All your fantasy football teams are dead last. And vice versa, right? So if you win the championships, then you're...
So your real teams would win, but you'd be a loser the next 5.
Yeah. Real loser.
Well,
which could just happen anyway.
This is making me feel like a real loser anyway. I'm realizing how much fantasy football means to me.
No.
And that I really look forward to it, and I kind of plan my fall around it. Either way, it's going to sound like the biggest loser ever. I enjoy fantasy football too much to do that.
I don't even think it's a question.
Yeah.
I am so used to having terrible sports teams that I root for.
It's not like I've ever seen a championship, so it's nothing different.
I have never seen a national title or a Super Bowl.
You saw a Super Bowl, not win.
Not win.
But sexy Rexy.
I guess when I was 1 year old, the Bears won the Super Bowl.
I mean, Cowboys won when I was...
But
those 90s teams.
I guess that's saying something
young
like
to appreciate.
Like maybe I should put them ahead of my own personal preferences. But
What?
No, I don't even think it's particularly close. I think 5 years of dominating fantasy football to just like rub that shit in your friends' faces is worth way more than a Bears Super
Well, guess
Bowl.
what? Cody gets the Chiefs winning every year, and he's winning every year. He's got the best of both worlds.
No, so yes, the Bears are also playing fantastic football right now. They're further along than I thought they would be after 6 weeks.
I remember going into the year, they had a soft spot, what you'd think of their schedule, and I think they're in it now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're taking advantage of it, though. And they're
have to,
playing well.
Like they haven't
They are.
played. They don't play another NFC North team until like week 10. They haven't played one yet, and they don't play anybody in their division until like week 10 or
Good
11.
God, they have to have, that's all they have at the end of the year, then.
Yeah, that's the run out is the NFC North. And the NFC North currently is the best division.
By quite a bit, yeah.
The best conference in football. Yeah, so the Bears have to keep winning, and, Caleb has looked good.
figured-
Like,
no,
he has gotten better. Every week he's gotten a little better.
You're not
Now,
hearing the chirping as much about Daniels. But
the biggest problem that I've seen so far is that they are playing some soft teams. Like, he had a great game this past week, but the Jaguars' defense is like 31 or 32 in the league right now.
yeah.
And they're in, like, London. So it was like, I don't know how much
Still-
of that is.
Still pros. I mean,
They are.
every game's hard. It is.
They
but
are. But sometimes it feels like, I don't know, maybe Jacksonville gave up and, like, made it, a little easier on him. But he's gotten better. Like,
Well, you see
from
he's getting
week
rid of the ball
1
faster.
to week 6, he's gotten better at football.
Yeah.
So I think we're starting to see that he can be a really good quarterback.
Yeah. No, I think he's going to be fine. I still don't know who I'd take between him and Daniels. It's tough.
I can
Tough
say
one.
this. I can say that going back to the draft and looking at that draft and having the number 1 overall pick, I don't think any of those 32 teams takes Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams.
No, he was a consensus for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, he was like a LeBron. You knew he was going to go number 1. And those scouts usually know. I mean, granted, there's busts all the time, but he's got a good team around him, really, skill position-wise.
Have you seen the I don't know if it was from the when the Giants were in like the in-season Hard Knocks or whatever, but you seen the thing when they're all sitting up in the Giants. The Giants GM has like his family sitting up there with them, and he's talking to his kids about like what he should do with his. Who do you guys think I should take with my pick? Who do you get? Pick 5?
Yeah, they took neighbors. Yeah, 5, I think.
Right, and like his son's like Daniels. He's like, he won't be there.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't care. Trade up, do whatever you got to do, get Daniels. Like, and like his daughters are like JJ McCarthy, and like his son was like, Dad, you're only like the GM once, like I can't remember what he said exactly, but it was something along the lines of, you might as well try and win. And
Is this son just like, I told you so every day?
Dude, that was like the funniest. Like the thing about it was like there was like someone was saying like,
Granted, neighbors is awesome, but
turns out his son is a better GM than him.
truth is, Washington wouldn't give that pick up.
Yeah,
You had
his son was like, dude, do what you can, like trade up, get Daniels. And then he's like, okay, well, what if we can't? He goes, well, then you just take neighbors, or you take. He just listed off all of these guys.
Can this kid GM
and
Dallas?
he's like, you really can't lose, And he wasn't wrong.
How
Like,
old is this kid?
I don't know. He looked to be like 12. Plays a lot of Madden.
He
Probably.
would do way better than Jerry Jones. Not even close.
Yeah, like he's like the guy's daughters were like JJ, and he's like, well, they only want JJ McCarthy because he's good looking. They're like, no, he looks like a quarterback. He goes, have you looked at Jaden Daniels? That man's a quarterback.
And they're like, no, JJ's white.
Probably.
That's a quarterback.
Oh man.
Just kidding, everyone.
But like, yeah, no, NFL has been great for me, but like terrible for you.
What? They are 3-3, but it's just the eye test. Their 3 road wins have been against mediocre to bad teams. And then they've just gotten boat raced at home all 3 times.
Defense didn't need to have those injuries. They
Yeah,
were already not as good.
No, they were.
But
Injuries are a big deal, but even with injuries, you shouldn't be this bad. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the coach has lost them. Bye week came at a good time. I'll say that. They
need to fucking pick it up. I've got some of their players on some of these teams.
The offense did, like I said this last time, they started slow last year and they really came on. And they have a reworked O-line that some rookies that'll get better. I don't know. But it's really looking bad that they did not pick up a running back at all.
Yeah, I think that was a bad move. Like, I think a lot of people think that
They're
the running back
interchangeable,
position is very interchangeable. And it is.
But you still gotta have
if you have like a top 5 offensive line, yeah.
Well, look at
you could go out there behind
Bucks,
behind a great offensive line and run for a few yards. But
look at the Bucks. Like, they got this Sean Tucker guy came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
3rd string, never played, and he was quick. And Dallas doesn't have any like quick athletes back there. They have CeeDee Lamb. That's about it on offense as far as like elite athletes.
But do you think it's like a little bit of karma when they're like, "Hey, we're just gonna bring back Zeke,
That
and
was
Dalvin Cook"?
No,
Like, fuck you guys and your running backs.
They should have drafted one. There's so many good quick running, but you just need somebody that's a little quick back there. And
yeah, it's certainly not. It's
not
Zeke
Rico
Elliott,
and it's
eating,
not Rico
eating a can of
Dowdle.
corn.
Rico Dowdle's a fine backup. He's not a starter. Zeke, I was like, oh, maybe for short yardage.
Where the fuck were they on Kareem Hunt?
Exactly. Where were they on a trade back for Amari Cooper for a 1-year rental? Or Jerry always just says, oh, there's the cap. It's like other teams figure it out.
Let's talk about some of these trades. Devontae Adams to the Jets. They give up like a 3rd and something else, and the 3rd maybe turns into a 2. I think depending on like playing time.
I think it's a good trade for the Raiders, honestly. I mean,
Well, yes. I mean, Devontae was done. Do you think his hamstring was actually hurt?
no.
He miraculously gets traded and he's back to participating in full?
And they're punting on this season anyway, it looks like.
I think like they don't have a fucking quarterback. Aiden O'Connell's a joke.
Gardner's more of a backup.
Gardner Minshew is he should be in the marketing department. He should not be out there fucking playing quarterback.
He made Michael Pittman a stud last year. I mean, he's a good. He should be in the league as a backup, but he's certainly not a starter.
And so the Devontae goes to the Jets, which I don't know. People are saying, "Oh, awesome for him, awesome for Garrett Wilson." I don't know. I'm not sold that Aaron Rodgers really has anything left in the tank.
He got something. He's not what he was, but he still can throw.
Yeah, he can throw a football. I'm just saying that, like, does he have enough to really...
Can he carry a team anymore? I don't think so.
How many yards? What's he got in his arm? I mean, like, what's a realistic season for him? Let's say that he has Devontae Adams and Garrett Will. He has this team that he has right now.
Well, you can't ask for any more weapons now. I mean,
yeah, but let's say he had it from the start of the season, right? What would we say like would be a realistic number of yards for him? 3,800 yards. Do you think he really has like a 4,500 yard season in him?
No, but I think they're thinking. I mean, they got Breece Hall and Braylon Allen too, so they'd run more.
So let's say we give Aaron Rodgers 3,800 yards. How many? What do you think he has in him for full season touchdown passes?
He could break
25.
He could go 30 or so.
You think he can break 30? Yeah.
I think
he can average almost 2 touchdown passes a game.
With those two guys,
you'd hope so.
He does have a history with that.
That's the question, though, right?
Wilson,
it's like
I think Wilson's going to take a little hit here, but he'll still be good. But
I mean, there's something to be said that
should open him
defenses can't just key in.
No, it might open him up a little more.
When you tell a defense like
Adam's going to take a lot of targets.
You've got to deal with Breece Hall. You got to deal with Garrett Wilson. You've got to deal with Devontae Adams. Like, yes, it should open things up a little bit.
Will this all work? Probably not.
Yeah, I know. That's the question, right?
Is
like, we've seen some epic seasons out of guys like, some of the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, back when there were seasons that were happening, it was 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, Drew Brees. Like, I just don't think any of that's in the cards for Rodgers. Can he make the Jets a winning football team?
And
Yes.
also not with that O-line. He's taking it.
Yeah.
He's getting his ass kicked. He might get hurt again.
So I think it's obviously it's a good move for Devontae Adams because he was in no man's land in Oakland. I don't think that it's the worst thing that's ever happened to Garrett Wilson because he wasn't exactly having a great year. So let's change it up and see.
He's starting to come on, but
I just don't think we're going to see, like, from this point on, either one of those guys are going to be a consistent, like, I'm glad I started these guys every week. Now, what do I know? Because I have shitty football teams this year, but
fast forward 2 weeks, they both have 150 yards. This could be a real cold takes exposed.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers sets the record. Guy hits 6,000 yards and like 67 touchdowns, and it's from week 6 on. I hope
the
so.
greatest
Fuck
show
it.
on turf.
Yeah.
This turn into.
I just don't think it's going to happen, but hope it does. And then, all right. So the Devontae, I think we all kind of saw that coming. What the hell are the Cleveland Browns doing? So
Fire sale.
the start of the year, they converted Amari Cooper's salary to a signing bonus. His salary this year is like the league minimum for a veteran. He's making like $800,000 this year. But that's because they paid him like $20 million in a signing bonus.
So they have to eat that, right?
Well, when they traded, when Devontae Adams got traded to the Jets are paying his whatever, $11-15 million salary. When Cooper got traded to the Bills are only paying Cooper $800,000.
What a steal.
Yeah. And now, they threw in, there's draft pick, they're trading draft picks, but it's like middle round picks. It's nothing. Mm-hmm. Now, Cooper, I think, is a free agent after this year.
Yeah, it's a rental, I think, probably.
But
I think that that trade's going to have more impact than that. That's a good trade for.
Yes.
Cooper's a good player.
The Bills got a steal.
Yeah. I think fantasy. You have? Oh, no, did you trade him to George?
I traded him, so I don't have him.
Look what happened when he went to. Well, that year with Dallas, he went.
Yeah.
Dak. I know everyone shits on him. Good quarterback. He exploded.
No,
I could see that similar.
This move
happening with
this
Josh
trade has absolutely I lost the trade with George, and I will own that. And I'm sure I will take a lot of shit for it over the next couple of years. I don't think that my analysis on why I made the trade was wrong. It just shook out bad for me. And I'm fine with that.
I'll trade you Pittman for Etienne.
I might make that trade at this point.
Go. I will fucking take it.
Cooper in Cleveland was a waste of a roster spot. And Cooper makes out like a bandit here. The Bills make out like a bandit here. I just don't understand what Cleveland's doing. I don't okay, they got like a draft pick.
Was it third, fourth round?
Something
I
like
mean,
that.
Teams really value that shit. I don't know. Third in NFL.
Ah, man. Speaking of the Browns, so I was listening to. Did you listen to Pardon My Take on Monday?
I didn't because I knew they just shit all over Dallas, so I didn't listen.
So I listened to them at work, and I was out for a walk. I take walks. I can't sit at my desk for 8 hours, and I was listening to Pardon My Take, and they were talking about Cleveland, and they were talking about how bad Deshaun Watson is.
He is pretty bad now.
And they said something, and it just made me laugh so hard. Oh. They're like, do you think that Cleveland continuing to play Deshaun Watson, even though he's terrible and should be benched, is by design? Do you think they are just trying to be a friend to the Me Too movement by rolling Deshaun Watson out there
and get his ass kicked?
Yes. Like, do you think like they went to their starting offensive line and said, "Look, guys, you're taking the year off. We're going to play the backups, and we're going to tell the backups to just like let people through, and they're just going to send him out there to get pummeled and be bad at football, and like it's like a lesson to little kids, like." Don't mistreat women because you may have to play quarterback for the
sexually assault women.
You may have to play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
I hope so because the way he looks now it's almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like the Monstars took his talent, like in Space Jam.
It is insane.
We've said this before. He was an awesome player.
I don't
know what happened. I don't know if it's all in his head now.
It has to be a mental thing. It can't be. You don't just lose
that talent at that age.
Know? So I don't know. It's got to be in his head. But I mean, he got paid. Like the guys get like that's the other side of this.
He's gonna be fine.
Cleveland, he's getting paid. Like it's not like
he'll be fine.
Hurting, but it is funny that they keep starting this guy, and all he does is he goes out there and he is terrible at football.
I don't know. I know they're just praying for a scandal with him, I think, to get out of that contract.
Yeah, but even then, like, you could pray for that scandal while he's on the fucking bench.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jameis Winston with that team.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot better.
Like,
although now they
that's actually what I was worried about with the trade to George, was that they'll bench Deshaun Watson and they'll go to Jameis Winston and he'll just throw deep balls to Amari Cooper all day.
There's anything he can do to get benched at this point. They seem stubborn because they're paying him all that.
Yeah, I don't know what else you would do.
Yeah, it's brutal. One last NFL thing. Did you see the Jerry Jones radio interview?
I had not seen anything about this. But I was going to pick up the kids today, actually, and I was listening to
holy shit, like
106.3
Angry Jerry,
and they were talking about this. Like he ripped into some radio host or something.
They were asking him honestly fair questions, like, do you regret maybe not being as aggressive in the offseason, getting running back or whoever? He's like, I can't remember the exact quote, but he's like, I don't pay you guys to question what I do. You fucking can't do what I do here in this chair. And he says, if you keep talking like this, I'll find a couple other guys that can do your job. He threatened to fire them because I guess he owns that radio. I don't know.
You know, my favorite part about this is that so the two people that I've heard talk about this both did the Jerry Jones accent.
Because it's just
you did the Jerry Jones accent. So did the radio personalities. They did the Jerry Jones accent. It was great.
And don't you always picture him? He's holding whiskey as he's talking.
Oh, man.
There's no doubt.
But I bet he is actually holding whiskey.
I mean, his kind of gangster side came out. Kind of intimidating.
I bet.
But obviously he's getting shit. They're threatening these guys' jobs for just doing their job. But I just thought it was. I'm so over it now. I just think it's funny.
Oh God!
He's just such a stubborn old shit. He's never gonna change.
Do you see where Tom Brady owns the Raiders now? At least a minority owner.
And that whole thing, how does he still call games? I know there's rules put in place.
I don't know. I bet that comes to an end.
No, he's still calling games, but there's rules. He can't interview teams in their facility or something.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember all the set of rules, but I wonder if he'll just be one and done with this announcer.
Probably.
Because he's not that good.
Did you hear what his first order of business is for the Raiders? He's going to gauge interest with Belichick to see if he wants to come be the coach.
He's going to have to fight Jerry Jones off for that.
I think if you put Tom Brady and Jerry Jones in a fight, I think I'm taking Tom Brady.
But Jerry still has more money.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, Jerry probably didn't lose half his fortune to
there's no
crypto.
There's no probably. Jerry's got more money. Oh, that's kind of what I feel's coming.
You think it is?
Yeah.
You think that
no, obviously next year, but it's not gonna. But
He's thinking about it because they asked him about if he was going to fire McCarthy, and he said, I'm not even considering it.
He won't this year. He'll let it ride. But I could, if it keeps going like this, yeah, definitely fire him. And I think Belichick would want that job. He's talked pretty highly of Dak and C, and
it's definitely a better job than the Raiders.
Yes. Yeah.
And
he'd get paid quite a bit. So I could see that happening. But
I can't imagine that. I mean, like, do you think guys like Belichick really care so much about how much the paycheck is? Right? Like,
I don't.
I mean, do you think he needs to be like the highest paid coach? Because he's going to get paid a lot of money.
Don't underestimate these guys' egos. I mean,
but he's going to get paid a lot of money regardless, right? So, like,
maybe not the highest paid, but like, I'm sure he's pretty well off anyway right now, right?
Oh yeah,
I would
yeah.
think.
Have you seen his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Of course he's well off. He's got a 22-year-old girlfriend.
You mean that's not true love?
Yeah, I'm sure it's true love. I'm sure she looked at that fucking goblin and was like, "This is the guy for me."
God, can you imagine his saggy nuts just? God, gross. Imagine like bringing him, like that's your daughter. She brings this guy.
She takes him home and he's older than her dad.
The dad. All right, we got some picks this week.
I think so. So.
Oh yeah, let's go back. How did we do last time?
Let's take a look how we did last week.
Even though we didn't get the episode out in time, probably.
Yeah, well, no, but that's just how life works.
Schedule change coming.
No one wants to like actually follow our picks.
Why not? We've been okay.
All right, so the last episode. Let's see here. I had the Vikings minus 2.5.
Jets
versus the Jets.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I lost that.
I hit on that one. I had the Redskins minus 3.5 at the Browns. Fuck the Browns. And the Redskins hit. So that's 2 for me. I also had Packers minus 3 at the Rams, which also hit. So I went 3-0. Well,
I certainly did not.
Didn't, but you came obviously pretty close. You took Ohio State minus 18.5
I knew that.
versus the Hawkeyes.
Easy.
And
holy shit, Javonte scored.
And you won that one. You took the other half of my Vikes Jets bet.
Yeah.
Jets did not cover the 2.5, so you lose that one. And then you took my favorite bet of the week, which I did not put any money on, the Bears minus 4. The Bears covered that. So that brings the season total to me. I've gotten 6 right out of 12, and you've gotten 7 right out of 12. No.
Not terrible.
No. I mean, I think that feels about right, you know? This week, let's let you pick first. Most time you had to change a bunch of your picks because you're picking the same stuff as me. So
all right, let's see my winners this week. I'm doing all NFL. I like the Patriots plus 6 against the Jags in London.
I also like that one.
And then I like Packers at home minus 3 against the Texans. And then I think a shootout's going to happen in Atlanta. I'm going to take the over 51. Seahawks, Atlanta. Lock.
Yeah, you have a couple of my games, so I'm going to have to pull my phone up and pick one here. Because I also like the Patriots and the Pack. I like the Dolphins plus 3.
I thought about
at
that
the
one.
Colts.
Is Tua back?
I don't think he's back. I'm just going to say that, like, Miami off a bye.
Oh, I think
the Colts, like,
with Anthony Richardson.
If this is ever going to be a time where they're going to get right, like, it's got to happen now. So they're getting points. Like, I'm just going to go with, I think the Dolphins are going to do it. And then, nod to my boy Devontae. I'm going to take the Jets -2. The Steelers are going to. I think the Steelers are going to start Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would.
After a 4-2 start.
I don't know why they would fuck with what's working, but
4-3. I don't know.
that's what we're going to do.
4-2.
Is we're gonna take the Jets there -2. And then you had two of the ones that I liked. I also like the Patriots and the Packers, but let's see what else I can come up with here. I'm sure I looked at a few other of these that
There were some tough ones.
should have wrote down. Yeah, there were some tough ones because there's like some spreads that were a little bigger than what you think it should be. We're gonna take the Baltimore Ravens -3.5 at the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football.
Wait, is that? Oh,
Am I missing? I'm not.
no, you're right.
I'm not going too far forward. Am I?
No, back to our Monday night. So there's 2 Monday night games. That explains it. One's going to be on ESPN Plus.
Oh yes.
And the other one will be
that
on.
would do it.
Okay, I see. Still,
I don't know. I looked through all these. Like some of these games, that Patriots line. Like what?
that seems.
What am I missing there? Jacksonville is fucking terrible.
I think the Patriots are too, but May looked like they could score a little bit with him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He certainly looks like he's going to give them a better shot on offense
Yeah.
than what's his name was.
Jacoby
Oh yeah, Brissett.
Brisket.
The old brisket. Yeah, so starting Bubs was a mistake. But
What if Bubs just goes off here? He might. All he needs one touchdown.
frankly, all it needs is one long catch. Look, they didn't have. He was the only pass catcher.
I can't believe it's gotten to this point.
What the fuck? What do I care?
Week 7, Bub means. What number is he?
Oh fuck, I don't know.
I think he's going to him. I think that's him.
Is it? Is that Means?
No, it's Wilson. Damn it.
It is what it is at this point. Like I'm really just out here having a good time. What do you want me to do?